In this video, I'm going to show you how you can become the most confident, radiant, attractive, top 1% version of yourself. And of course, this is going to take effort, but it is definitely achievable. And the beautiful thing about this process is, of course, you are going to elevate, you are going to up level, and a byproduct of that is you are going to become more magnetic in the dating market. So I'm going to show you how I got to where I am today, happily married in my dream home with a 6-figure net worth. So let's get right into it. The first thing that you are going to do is pour time, energy, and effort into yourself. You are your greatest investment. And the truth is, you can never be selfless if you don't first become selfish. So this is the time to do self-discovery and figure out who you are. What are your interests? What are your hobbies? What are your skill sets? And you are going to hone in on those things. You're going to take the class. You're going to sign up with a coach. You're going to get your education. You're going to do the things that are going to help you become a better version of yourself. And the truth is that always requires our time, our energy, our money. We can't avoid this work. We have to do it ourselves, and we cannot just wait around for someone to come and save us. So I know when I graduated college, I had invested in my education, and then I started investing in my skill sets. I actually started a blog. I was writing poetry. I learned how to invest in the stock market. And at the time when I was going on dates, all the men found me so fascinating, so interesting, because I wasn't like every other typical girl who just watched The Bachelorette on the weekends and basically had no hobbies, okay? So it is very important to have hobbies and interests and skill sets, even if they are not producing income. So at the time when I was writing and creating poetry, I wasn't getting paid for it. But it was still making me a better person. It was still making me someone who was interesting, because I was actually taking the time to cultivate a skill, to cultivate a hobby. And that is beautiful. Everyone wants to be surrounded by other people who are passionate and who actually have things that they're doing that ignites their soul and that makes them excited. That energy is contagious, and this is the first thing that you want to do to become the top 1% version of yourself. In addition to this, you are going to invest in your mind. So a lot of women focus way too much on their appearance, and they completely neglect their mind, their character, their personality. And if you haven't noticed, it's not always the most beautiful women who end up in the best marriages or in the best careers. It's the women who actually invest in their mind. So these women understand the importance of knowledge and wisdom. They read books, they listen to podcasts, they are always on this lifelong mission of learning, of growing, of expanding. And they understand that the investments that they make into their mind and into their knowledge and into their wisdom will pay dividends for decades. The next thing that you are going to do is to create a vision and to begin walking towards that vision. So this is when a vision board or manifestation principles or affirmations, things like that, are going to come in handy. But you need to realize that manifestation isn't just about prayer. It's not just about repeating statements. It's not just about the internal work. Yes, that is very important. Beliefs, mindsets, and all of that really pave the way for what we decide to do with our life. However, action is so important. So having a vision is key because it lets us know what steps do I need to take to reach that vision. So if you are putting marriage on your vision board, what steps are you going to take to get married? You're obviously going to start dating. You're going to start saying yes to social invitations. You're going to put yourself out there on an online dating app. You might even hire a dating coach. These are the steps that you are going to be taking that is actually going to boost your confidence, because you are telling yourself, I am actually ready for this future. It's not just some fantasy that I'm imagining about, but it's something that I'm actively working towards. So when I was in my early 20s, I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to accomplish. First off, I wanted a thriving business. And so I spent a year creating a business. I did all the things. I learned about domains. I learned about SEO. I learned about marketing. I had to get a business website, a business email, and all of these things. I was going to networking events. And of course, it was like learning a foreign language. It was difficult. I didn't have anyone in my life who had done that before. So I was really the first. And thankfully, I did have the help of my mom because she co-founded my business with me. And her role was just instrumental because it's always nice when you have two people who are on a mission and who have a vision because it really strengthens that vision. But we were really just the blind leading the blind. Like we truly didn't know anything. And that is why we attended different masterminds and networking events where we were able to speak to lawyers and to other founders who had successful startups. So during this time, I wasn't just at home praying about having a business. I was taking the steps to actively get that. And on top of this, I knew that that was my number one mission above all else. So although marriage was a huge goal of mine, if I had to pick which one, I was picking my business. And if you go back in my text messages and you see how I was operating, you will see that my business was my first priority. It was truly my baby. I was going on dates. I was doing rotational dating. I was on an online dating app. But if there was ever a situation where I had to attend a meeting or go visit a client and I was also invited on a date, I was choosing my business. And this is because I didn't just have a vision, but I had priorities. And I knew this business was going to provide income, which is going to give me freedom and options. And I wasn't just going to rely on a man to come and be my savior. Of course, men are providers, and my husband has always been a provider since the day we met, basically. But that didn't mean that I was just going to be this useless being that had no goals and no passions and no finances. I wanted to have my own. So that was really the number one priority of my vision. Once my business started taking off, that's when I was able to take a little bit of a step back, not really, because to be honest, when you have a small business, you are everything. You are HR, you are the head of advertising, the head of marketing, you're the manager, you're the founder, you're the visionary, you are everything in one. So I wasn't able to take that much of a step back, but I did then start investing into time with my husband. We began traveling, we began, really growing a closer and intimate bond, and that is around the time when we got engaged and we started progressing our relationship towards marriage. This is why having a vision is so important, because if I was just sitting in my bedroom after graduation saying, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be fit, I want to have the best social circle, I want to have a thriving business, that is just way too many things for your mind to actually operate on. So you need to be strategic, and you need to figure out that yes, you can have it all, but not all at once. So you need to create a vision and a priority list as to how are you going to prioritize these goals and what's your number one priority, what's your number one vision. And then you kind of start tackling things one after another. So personally for me, fitness was not a huge goal of mine. And unfortunately, that meant my health and just my well-being really took a hit. And so it hasn't really been until the last few years that that became my number one priority. I had already become successful in my business. I had gotten married. We had bought in this amazing home. And so at that point, fitness became a priority. Now it seems like I have it all, but people don't realize that happened in stages. And if you see anyone, maybe there's somebody that you look up to because they have your dream body and they are super healthy, they are likely sacrificing another part of their life, whether it be relationships, whether it be business, whether it be something else. And it's because we really are limited in time. We need to focus our energy on what's the most important and relevant. So figure out what that is for you and then execute. During this time, you want to go inward. So spend a lot of time alone. This is honestly something that I recommend everyone to do, especially if you're a social butterfly and if you're very extroverted. Being around a lot of people can really cloud your own judgment. It can cloud your own sense of free will because the lines start becoming blurred as to what's your purpose and your identity versus everyone else. What made me super unstoppable was trusting my own instinct, was trusting my own gut. It was when I stopped relying on other people's validation, on other people to agree with me, on asking other people for their input, and instead just going towards what was nudging my soul. I experienced a huge amount of growth when I just started moving in silence. I'm sure you've heard those quotes that say, move in silence, let success speak for you. And that is just so true. There's only so much advice that you can pull from your friends, from your family. Now, this is completely different if you're hiring an expert or a coach, because in that sense, they are the ones that are leading you and guiding you and helping you along the way. But if you are just asking the people around you for their input, they are not necessarily in the best position to give you that advice. So asking my family business advice didn't make sense because none of them had a business. So at the end of the day, of course, they're going to tell me what they believe is the best move for me, but that doesn't really mean that it is the best move. So instead, if you become self-reliant and self-accountable, you start making moves that you just previously wouldn't. And instead of bringing all this noise into your precious mind, you are starting to make moves because you believe that they are the best move for you. And that makes you so powerful because now you are not getting so sidetracked by everyone else's fears. The minute you tell someone else about something that you're deciding on, not only are you now dealing with your fear, but you've now brought their fear into the equation. So now you have double the fear. So one thing that I have realized is to just go for it. If I am in the process of deciding to make an investment, more times than likely, I am making that investment. And I mean, I will not tell my husband, I will not tell my friend, I will not tell my mom until after it's done. And it's because I know that when I move like that, the results speak for themselves. Versus if I am just wondering, unsure, asking for so many people's opinions, that is when my momentum starts to slow down and I stop really operating from my own free will and from my sovereignty, okay? So take your power back, go inward, and this is the perfect time to do some journaling. So I'm going to give you some prompts that are going to help you throughout this video. The first one that you can ask yourself is, if I trusted my worth completely, how would I carry myself? What would I stop tolerating immediately? Another one is, what do I want to believe going forward? And what would it look like to start living from that new belief now? So, for example, one of my core beliefs is that God always blesses and rewards investments that I make in myself. So that means when I invest in a coach, when I invest in going to a certain business event, when I invest in purchasing books, when I invest in ads for my business, all of those things are going to bring me results. And the funny thing is, it might not necessarily be that thing that brings me the results, but I just know that God is going to bless me, even if it's from a different source, even if it's from a different income avenue, even if it's from just something that I completely didn't even think about. I trust that God is going to bless me. And that makes me invest in myself so much more heavily than other people. So many other women that I talk to always think twice before purchasing a stock or an ETF or a coach. And the funny thing is, when it comes to shopping, when it comes to buying makeup or clothes or to getting a cosmetic procedure, they never think twice about that. And I always find that so silly, because how are you second guessing an investment that you know is building your confidence, it's building your assets, it's building your skill sets? How are you going to be unsure about that and take so much time in deciding? I truly believe that there are no losses, there are only lessons, and that has just blessed my life so much. Actually, yesterday I made an investment into my business. The funny thing is, today I wake up and one of my old clients who I have not spoken to in over 2 years, all of a sudden wants to sign up again. So that is what I mean by God will bless me. I made this investment yesterday with the knowing, with the confidence that this is going to reward me exponentially. And before I've even created the ad for what I purchased, I'm getting old clients signing up with me. So I am telling you, when you decide, your energy changes, your frequency changes, and you attract new opportunities. So definitely answer these questions, journal about them, and start realizing that all it takes is that shift, is that decision, is that one step, and I'm telling you, you will never be the same again. If you truly want to be the top 1% version of yourself, you need to heal from your past. Most of the time, our past is not propelling us forward. It's actually holding us back. And so many of us carry resentment, wounds, pain, regret from the past. And this is literally acting like chains holding us down to an old identity. Something that I have realized is just repeating these negative stories, even if they're true, even if they are something that you've experienced or overcome, when you repeat that story of what happened to you when you were 9 years old, or that ex that mistreated you and cheated on you, or that time where you failed that exam, every time you repeat that story, you are actually strengthening the neural connections in your brain, and you're telling your brain, I'm still that person. I'm still that person that's wounded, that's hurt, that's a failure. And that is actually making those feelings stronger, and it's keeping you stuck in that old state. So what you need to do is release, is surrender, is forgive. One thing that I swear by is doing forgiveness prayers. And this is when I pray to God and I will choose to forgive one person from my past. Doesn't matter if it was someone who hurt me 10 years ago or 10 days ago, but I will forgive them and I will release any energetic ties or attachments to that person, and I will send them love and blessings. And I will just tell God that I completely release this person from any baggage, from any energetic ties that are not serving us both. And I understand that we both did the best that we could during that time with the knowledge that we had then. And this has proved to be so therapeutic and so healing. I'm telling you, it's like going to therapy for years, because you're simply just deciding to forgive. And the funny thing about forgiveness is you move differently. You become lighter. Your heart releases that burden, and instead of becoming someone who has all these walls up and all these grudges and all this hostility and resentment, you instead return to that version of yourself that is so pure, that is so innocent, and that truly believes in goodness and benevolence. And instead of carrying around this bitterness that all people are a certain way, or girlfriends act this way, or men are like this, you start actually allowing room for life to show you what is possible and how beautiful and loving people and situations and experiences can be. So decide to forgive, decide to surrender, decide to give your pain to God and ask Him to heal it. Tell Him that you are ready to heal today. You don't need to read another book. You don't need to attend another therapy session. You don't need to rehash the same experience again and again. You can simply decide, this story is no longer a part of my identity. I no longer identify with that past version of myself. So some journal prompts that you can answer are: what wounds am I still carrying from past relationships? What roles have I played that no longer serve me? So these questions are going to allow you to reflect on past relationships and to see, how was I carrying myself in a way that was not allowing others to show up in their best self? So I know for me personally, when I was young, I would always be the woman who did the most for the guy that I liked, okay? This meant driving for them, cooking for them. I just remember I was always overextending myself in the name of love. And I had to take a few steps back because what could have been a strength, which is my desire to love and to give, actually became a curse. And unfortunately, I was overgiving to people, to friends, to men who did not deserve that from me yet. And so instead of just saying that I'm an overgiver, I'm a hopeless romantic, I'm X, Y, and Z, I decided, you know what? I love and embrace that version of myself, but I also realize that it's sacred and I am going to save and protect that version of me for the people who deserve it, for the people who have actually shown me that I can be safe in expressing love. So instead of just completely shutting down that part of me, instead of saying, I'm never going to love, people are ungrateful, I've never gotten anything good from going the extra mile, I decided that actually it's not them, it's me. I have been overgiving to the wrong people. And what I need to do is just take my energy back, take my power back, and decide to be very mindful about who I share and invest my energy into. Okay. And this proved to be so successful for me. I began attracting men who were flying out of the country just to see me for a date. I began attracting friends who wanted to do nice things for me. And it wasn't this situation where I was now overextending myself and feeling so burnt out and so depleted, but it felt like an equal energy exchange. And that is what we all deserve. The next step is to rediscover your radiance. So all of us know when we feel the most attractive. Maybe it's after a workout. Maybe it's when we wear our favorite color. Maybe it's when we style our hair a certain way. We all know when we feel the most magnetic. And let me tell you, we deserve to feel that way always. So remind yourself, when did I feel super attractive? When did I feel super confident? Was it when I was at a certain weight? Was it when I was free to express myself? Was it when I wore clothes that were flowy and feminine? Think about what days and what times of your life you truly felt confident, and commit yourself to bringing that aspects into your everyday life. So for me personally, one of the things that I realized makes me feel so confident is working out. And so I committed to working out 4 to 5 times a week. And I do it first thing when I wake up, because I know that that energy, that power, that strength is going to carry me throughout the day. So now I don't look at working out as a burden. I look at it as this beautiful vessel that is helping me to emanate that radiance, to bring out that confidence and that beauty. So 2 journal prompts that you can answer to help you figure out when you feel most radiant are: what makes you feel most alive and most beautiful? What makes me feel the most radiant, magnetic, and turned on by life? And how can I create more of that feeling daily? A very important part of becoming the best version of yourself is deciding that you are done with casual, shallow, superficial relationships. And this isn't just about romantic relationships. This is about relationships with friends, with clients, with everyone. Okay, so the next thing that you are going to commit to is to have relationships with depth, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. If you crave sisterhood, then actually give yourself the time and the space to invest in women, to get to know them, to do activities with them. Don't say that, oh, well, I would love to meet women, but, and give yourself a whole bunch of excuses. Instead, you are going to commit to that goal and actually act accordingly. So when I was in my early 20s, I decided I only want to date for marriage, and that is what I did. I blocked anyone from my past who didn't share that same mindset, and I simply said no to men who only really wanted to engage in casual hookups or situationships. I was just unavailable for it. And what happened was I began meeting men who wanted the same things as me. They wanted to get married. They were very serious. They had similar values. It was like all of a sudden the blinders were taken off, and I was now presented with men who wanted the same things as me. And it was just so interesting because for so long, I thought that maybe men just don't want to settle down, or maybe men are just not finding value in me. But the truth was, I was not clear with what I wanted and with what I desired. So, of course, if you are not going to set that standard or that boundary for depth, for something meaningful, for something long term, then anything is up for grabs and people are going to give you the bare minimum. But if instead you create a standard, you decide that you're only available for depth, then that is what you are going to receive. If you want to become the most radiant version of yourself, then you need to disconnect to reconnect. And this means realizing your phone is just a tool. Your phone is simply just a device that should help you make money, connect with people, but true life is meant to be lived. True life is outside. It's in nature. It's going on trips. It's being with your loved ones. It's actually socializing in person. It's having face-to-face laughter with people that you love. Your phone, in a lot of ways, is keeping you stuck. It's keeping you isolated. It's keeping you in your comfort zone. It's keeping you from actually living the life of your dreams. So begin using your phone like a tool rather than a lifeline, and you will watch your life transform. During this time, you are going to put yourself in the path of love. So you are going to go outside, attend events, say yes to social invitations. You are going to actually show up and not be shy about posting pictures online. If you are struggling with setting up a dating profile, you need to realize this is just the first hurdle to cross. This is just the first step in showing that you are ready to be fully seen. And I've had clients who come to me and they want to date and they tell me, oh, I don't believe in online dating because of X, Y, and Z. I don't believe in this because of X, Y, and Z. And when I actually get to the root of that fear, I figure out it is a fear of being seen. Well, how do you expect to find love in your day-to-day life if you're afraid of being seen online? Forget about being seen in person then. That clearly means that you are not actually walking in your day-to-day life with confidence, with radiance, with that boldness and readiness and willingness to be seen. Okay, so you need to get outside, you need to dress up, you need to go out and realize that being in the path of love is being seen. And being seen is always going to feel a little bit scary, a little bit nerve-wracking, but there's always beauty on the other side of that decision. Now, if you do all these things right, then I'm telling you, your calendar is probably going to be full and booked with dates. So when you go on dates, you need to be fully present. This means putting your phone on do not disturb, on silent, putting devices away, not having your device on the table, actually making eye contact with the person that you're on a date with, and making that commitment to just having fun and getting to know one another. Instead of getting into your head about, is this my future husband? Or what did it mean when he said this or did this? Just be fully present. Be mindful, breathe, be in your seat, feel all of your sensations and senses. And instead of trying to nitpick and analyze every single movement, just have fun. I don't know why we lost the script and started thinking that dating is just this horrible thing that is so draining and so exhausting. Dating should be fun. I know that when I was dating, it wasn't my favorite thing to do, but it wasn't horrible. It was fun. I got to socialize. I got to meet different people. And even when I subconsciously knew this wasn't the guy for me, I just saw it as another experience to get out there and to connect with someone, to socialize with someone. So have fun while you're dating and truly be intentional with the time that you spend with people, because if you are just racing to get back home or to get back on your phone, that energy can be felt. It is going to translate into you not really being ready for love. So feminine presence is priceless. Giving someone your presence, your time, your energy is honestly the most sacred gift you can give. So when you go on a date, give that energy and realize that's all you need to give. You don't need to do anything more. You don't need to prove yourself. Just being there and fully present with your date is amazing, and it is going to be so magnetic and so attractive for the right man. The last thing that is going to make you the top 1% version of yourself is to play with both your masculine and feminine energies. Yes, both of them. Okay, so just because you identify as a woman does not mean you do not have masculine energy. And just because you are a man, that does not mean you don't have feminine energy. We both have both energies. And of course, they're not in fixed ratios, but to truly thrive in life, you need both energies. And one of my coaches says this so beautifully. She says that instead of seeing energies as two separate things, we need to see them as these interconnected pieces. And if we braid these energies together, I'm telling you, you are going to go so far. And this is because masculine energy provides the structure, it provides the systems, it provides the achievements. And your feminine energy allows you to flow, it allows you to create, it allows you to be intuitive, it allows you to have that expression and to truly feel into every moment. When you use both energies, you are going to be unstoppable because the masculine energy is going to help you build. It's going to help you create systems and processes that actually help you live your dream life. And they are going to help you decide and take action and to move forward and to be an authority figure and to be a speaker, especially if you are a business owner or if you're someone who is in that position of needing to show authority. Masculine energy comes in really handy. And then the feminine energy is going to bring the feeling, the expression, the flow, the creativity. And when you have both of these, I'm telling you, it is just going to take you to the next level. So a few journal prompts that you can answer are: what does healthy feminine energy feel like? How can I embody it more today? What does my inner masculine need from me right now? How can I bring structure and support to my own dreams? So realize that integrating both of these energies are the true power move. Okay, this is how you truly become powerful. It's not just being in your soft, receiving flow energy. Yes, that feels nice, but if you actually want to build your dream life and to get results, you need that masculine energy as well. Okay, so if you made it this far in the video, I just want to say that to truly become the top 1% version of yourself, it's not just about having these identity and mindset shifts, but it's about truly moving differently, deciding differently, acting differently, okay? So it is a combination of internal work as well as external work. And if you are able to master both, then I'm telling you, your life will transform. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.